Number 5. Jaleel Smith Riley. Right after denying a man's request to withdraw his guilty plea in a 3-year-old murder case, the Hamilton court judge sentenced him to life in prison. Jaleel Smith Riley had pleaded guilty on August 11th to aggravated murder and attempted murder, however, decided to withdraw his plea with the advice of his attorneys. The Hamilton County Common Pleas judge, Charles Kubicki, rejected Smith Riley's change of heart and sentenced him to life in prison without having any possibility of parole.
This is what I come up with.
This is somebody that feels genuine remorse.
Smith Riley was also sentenced to a consecutive prison term of 11 years for a related attempted murder charge. When he received his sentence, Smith Riley collapsed to the floor of Kubicki's courtroom.
Term of life without parole. As to count 4 for the offense of attempted murder.
The police pulled Smith Riley to his feet, and then he interrupted Kubicki. It was pretty unclear who Smith Riley was referencing in the outburst. Smith Riley's counsel signaled to the court an appeal was likely, but had not been filed yet. The official stated that Smith Riley was one of 3 men involved in an armed robbery in Norwood on November 16, 2013. Aaron Martin and Portia Brooks were inside a parked car when the court documents state that Smith Riley approached and knocked on the window with a gun. And according to court documents, Smith Riley forced Martin out of the passenger side and went through his pockets, then shot him in the head. Martin survived his injuries. The documents state that Smith Riley leaned into the car and fired 2 shots at Brooks as she sat. In an interview, Norwood Police Lieutenant Tom Fallon said that Smith Riley has confessed to the crime in addition to pleading guilty. The officials also said that 2 other men are suspected of being involved in the crime. One, Randall Bird III, was murdered in a September 2015 shooting near Muskegon, Michigan. And the second, 23-year-old Josiah Fossey, is in jail in Michigan and is charged with murder in the shooting that killed Bird. Number 4. Ryan Stone. Ryan Stone led authorities on a lengthy high-speed chase, seriously injuring a state trooper in the process, and has been sentenced to 160 years in prison. Stone had carjacked several people during his Denver metro area crime spree in March 2014. He was sentenced to attempted manslaughter and dozens of other charges in Douglas County Court. Stone will be eligible for parole in approximately 75 years. Bellaman He, who is a trooper with the Colorado State Patrol, ended up with serious injuries, including several broken bones, when a vehicle Stone was driving clipped him as he was trying to place stop sticks on E-470 to halt the chase. After Stone's sentencing hearing, he told reporters at a courthouse news conference that doctors saved his leg. During an interview with a young woman, the act was already reprehensible enough. However, Ryan Stone made his situation much worse by bragging in prison. He claimed to have committed these crimes to earn advertising revenue from YouTube. Surely, several news channels covered the event, and Stone somehow still believed he had the rights over the images taken. He even boasted of seeing footage from his pursuit on English and Australian channels. Stone should have done like every other player and stayed in the game to assuage his maladjusted tendencies. Unfortunately, he has no right to what turned out to be irrefutable evidence of his wrongdoings. Even if Stone somehow had any claim, it is estimated that his cavalcade's income generated on YouTube is just under $5,000. 160 years in prison for $5,000. Now that is quite a miscalculation. Number 3. Diana Lovejoy. Diana Lovejoy is a prison time serving convict. Lovejoy came to prominence in late 2016 after she plotted to kill her estranged husband, Greg Mulvihill, and firearms instructor and former Marine, Weldon McDavid. Lovejoy and McDavid, the ex-couple who committed adultery, plotted to kill Mulvihill in September 2016. At the time of the shooting, Diana and her former husband, Mulvihill, were having a heated divorce along with a custody battle. The case had become a national interest, with a handful of headline-esque images and stories appearing from the court from the point of the crime. In November 2016, Weldon McDavid and Diana Lovejoy were found guilty in a botched murder-for-hire plot, and the latter's ex-husband. And, after hearing his verdict, the former closed his eyes, put his head in his hands, and cried while his family watched. McDavid stated that he regretted cheating on his wife more than the crime that put him in jail. He is serving a sentence of 50 years at the California Institution for Men in Chino. On the other hand, his former lover, Lovejoy, was sentenced to 26 years to life in prison. Moreover, the court also ordered both of them to pay $500,000 to Greg in punitive damages. Also, after hearing the verdict of her conviction, Lovejoy collapsed in the Vista courtroom. Judge Sim von Kalinowski cleared the courtroom so that the newly convicted could receive medical attention. Then a while later, Fox 5 reporter Jamie Chambers, a lifeguard, and emergency medical technician assisted Lovejoy on the floor until help arrived. Chambers said Greg's former wife had passed out but was conscious when he eventually left her side. He stated that Lovejoy presumably lost her consciousness due to shock, and after the paramedics took her to a hospital, the court continued.
Guilty of the crime of conspiracy to commit murder.
All right, we're going to need to take a break. You're down. And if we could have,
Number 2. Esteban Carpio. Esteban Carpio is accused of killing Providence Police Detective James L. Allen in April. Allen was questioning Esteban at the police headquarters about a stabbing just a week earlier. The police say that Esteban grabbed Allen's gun, shot him, and jumped from the third-story window. The police then chased him down the street and caught him. Carpio then showed up in court the next day wearing the mask. A spokeswoman said that their department has used the mask only about 10 times in 10 years. Moreover, the Sheriff's Department and Corrections Department jointly decided to put the mask on Carpio. She stated, as Carpio's face was bleeding and oozing, he could possibly try to spit on the officers. Fox Channel said, there were concerns he would be combative, and the department decided to take maximum precaution and to place him in the spit shield. At his arraignment, Carpio came in with his eyes red and swollen, with his family making accusations of police brutality.
Step up.
And according to a press conference statement made at the time by Providence Police Chief Dean M. Ezerman, Carpio's injuries were sustained due to his jump from the third floor of a building and struggle with law enforcement. At the trial, Christopher Zarella, who is the state police detective who helped in the arrest, testified that he had punched Carpio thrice. That day's testimony, Zarella broke bones in Carpio's face. Also, an FBI investigation concluded that Providence police did not use excessive force. Then, on June 27, 2006, the jury found Carpio guilty of the murder of Detective Allen, along with the stabbing of Madeline Gatta. The jury rejected Carpio's insanity defense. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. Number 1. Seth Welch and Tatiana Fusari. Tatiana Fusari was sentenced Wednesday to life in prison without the possibility of parole. That is the mandatory sentence for a felony murder conviction. The jury found Fusari guilty of murder, as well as first-degree child abuse in the passing of her 10-month-old daughter, Mary Welch. Mary Welch was found dead in her crib at her family's Solon Township house on August 2, 2018. The autopsy revealed that she was malnourished and dehydrated, and the authorities say that she had been left alone for 17 hours before her mother found her body. When Mary died, she weighed only about a pound more than she had when she was born.
In Solon Township, that you're both charged with what they call felony murder, while in the perpetration or attempted perpetration of child abuse in the first degree, they're alleging that you murdered one Mary Welch. That is a charge called homicide felony murder. It is life without parole. The second offense that you're both charged with is called child abuse in the first degree.
What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments section down below. If you found today's video interesting, then be sure to leave us a thumbs up. And do not forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon to be always up to date with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.